Authors Unknown presents
Inkwells and Curtains, a podcast about books and writing. Or perhaps books, but mostly writing. With added random noises.
Not yet!
For creatives, storytellers, or anyone who likes holding a pen to paper, sometimes.
Let go of my notebook.
The Big Five.
The test of any good fiction is that you should care something for the characters, the good to succeed, the bad to fail. The trouble with most fiction is that you want them all to land in hell together, as quickly as possible. Mark Twain.
Good morning, Mr. Schreiber. How is it with you today, I keep writing myself into a plot bunny. Ach, yeah, I saw the ears. This is all quite normal, you know. But there's something else. Yeah? I think I'm turning into one of my characters. Yeah, this too is very normal, and as long as your character is not a homicidal maniac, we have nothing to worry about, yeah? Yeah, about that? Yeah?
Some writers say they become their characters, others that a bit of the writer goes into the character. It might be a repetitive gesture you make, a turn of phrase you suddenly find yourself using all the time. Or dismantling old bicycles.
Yeah, totally nothing to worry about. Good?
Totally. It means your character is alive and present. This is when you can let them tell their story with you, instead of you leading them by the hand.
But...
Yeah, seems like they're taking over. They aren't letting you, the writer, steer them where you want them to go, right? So now where are you with the plot? What's happening to your storyline? These characters are just rampaging through all the scenes you so tidily sorted out in your head already, overturning the furniture and running off with the dish and the spoon. And there is probably a cow jumping over the moon as well.
Every night? Every night? Yeah. This great big cow turns up in the garden and jumps over the moon, and I'm running out of crockery and cutlery. Yeah, I'm very sorry to hear that. I remember my grandmother had some exceptional nice silver went walkies one moonlit night. It was never the same again. Ach me. But what do you suggest? Don't buy silver. It's costly, no? But...
What could be happening is your subconscious is realizing something before you do, that the behavioral patterns of your character are not matching up with what your story expects of them. It's their psychology. You've created them, so in a way you should be able to read their minds, right? But it doesn't always seem to work out that way. Sometimes you just have to get to know them all over again, as if you were meeting a stranger. As Hercule Poirot says in Lord Edgware Dies.
Do you know, my friend, that each one of us is a dark mystery, a maze of conflicting passions and desire and attitude?
Psychology was something Agatha Christie used quite a lot, especially in the Hercule Poirot mysteries, and it makes a lot of sense for a crime novel where the reader's brain is asking to be challenged with a puzzle. Outside of solving mysteries, though, we still apply a bit of psychology to our characters to give them, and us, the creator, writer, some idea of who they are, and where they are, and how they are likely to behave in any given situation. We might think of motives as something arising purely in crime cases, but motivation drives any character in any genre.
Just said, have you got any more breadcrumbs?
One cannot be interested in crime without being interested in psychology. It is not the mere act of killing, it is what lies behind it that appeals to the expert.
We talked about building our characters in layers last time. The outer layer, the middle, and the inner layer, just to get going. What is inside might be quite different from the exterior that our character presents to the world, and often that might be enough. But when you find your character lacks motivation or doesn't fit in a particular scene, it could be time to revisit them to discover what kind of personality they are. For example, are they extrovert?
Hi, I'm Jerry.
Introvert. Hi, I am. I'll be in the library if anyone needs me. Helpful. Shall I do that for you? Unhelpful. Why are you asking me? Neurotic. Stable. And so on. There is talk of the big five traits that go up to make a personality, and it's these traits that help us predict how a character is likely to behave. Take the extrovert.
Hi, I'm Cherry. I like people, places, and fun.
We can make some seasoned guesses as to what he will do when confronted with a packed cocktail party.
Hey everyone, who wants to play Twister?
Whereas the introvert... Do I have to go out? Can't I just read a book instead? I'll just say I'm not feeling very well. And so on. Once we have a clearer idea of the personality type, we may be more likely to work out what our character is likely to do in a given circumstance.
I have this character Egbert who never stops talking. Yeah, your classic extrovert, alright? Probably also has some anxiety issues. You'll need to send him outside. Outside? Here is pen and paper. Do your stuff. Send him on an adventure. An adventure. An adventure. Yes, I'll send him into the tombs of the pharaohs. Yes! Ha! And there'll be giant hippos in the river. Yes, yes, yes.
If you're interested in exploring this further, there is a new book out by Dr. Kira Ann Pelican, published by Bloomsbury, called The Science of Writing Characters. This explores the use of psychology in developing compelling characters and offers a framework for making them believable. It covers such topics as the dimensions of personality, how personality shapes dialogue, motivating character, and has a section called the Character Workshop, which takes you through developing the character's voice, making the character transform, and much, much more. Psychology can help lead us to what motivates our characters. Understanding what drives them can help us work out how they are going to react in given circumstances. It's like pinning a friend down by asking them, "What's really bugging you?" So try this out with your character next time you want to get to know them. Sit them down in your head and ask them the first 3 questions that come to mind. These can be totally random. The more random, the better, perhaps. This is a bit like hot seating for actors, to help get into the part they're playing. See what your character answers. Jot down the answers as they come to you. You may find yourself asking a further question, such as why, how. Ask away, get an answer and write it down. Read over the answers and see if anything new, unexpected came out, something you weren't previously aware of, but which you find fills in the missing bits of your character. If you haven't done so already, write down their backstory, adding in this new information. Let's have some time out for that.
I don't believe an author, good, bad, or indifferent, ever lived who created a character. It was always drawn from his recollection of someone he had known. Mark Twain.
Our characters may often begin as based on people we have known in real life. This does not mean they stay that way, quite apart from avoiding libel cases. They will, once distilled on paper, take on a personality of their own, adding traits from other people you've met along the way. We opened and closed this time with quotes from Mark Twain, so the bonus for this episode will be a piece of short fiction he wrote called The Telephone Conversation.
And now,
Can you save a word?
This is the corner for words that are rare, unusual, fun, and possibly in danger of vanishing altogether. A few years ago, a couple of English students paired up on a blog called The Feather and Rose for a year and set a weekly writing challenge. They would pick out an old word falling out of use, and the challenge was to write a piece of flash fiction using that word. The blog sadly is no longer around, but in homage to them, because we think it's cool to revive the tradition, we're going to set a similar challenge for anyone who fancies picking up a pen and scribbling something for fun. So the word for this week is...
Hypnosophist.
Hypnosophist. Someone who is good at conversation at the dinner table.
A group of introverts sat at dinner looking down at their plates. Not a word had been spoken all evening. Somebody coughed. Everyone else immediately frowned at him. The doorbell rang. Everyone looked at everyone else. Who was late? Not Alex, who was sitting at the head of the table. Not Eleanor, sitting at the other end. Max, Will and Eliza were all there too. "Oh," gasped Eleanor in horror. "I know who it is." "Who?" demanded Alex. "Arthur, Arthur, Arthur, Arthur," went the guests, for Arthur was a known hypnosophist, and they would all now be subjected to actual conversation. The men drew in their breath sharply. Eleanor held a napkin to her mouth, and Eliza fainted outright. So there you have it, a short scene, paragraph, sentence using the word hypnosophist. See where it takes you. Might give you an idea for a monologue, a scene, or a play, or a book. Want to share it on your blog or podcast? Send us the link. Want to hear it read out with sound effects? Let us know. DM us at Inkwells and Curtains on Instagram. Happy creating.
Yeah, this cow is now in my garden too. No problem, we will try a little further game. Now look at the nice shiny coin. Look at the coin and repeat after me. I do not want to jump over the moon. I do not want to jump over the moon. I do not want to jump.
You have been listening to The Big Five, a podcast with random thoughts on books, authors, and writing. This was an Inkwells and Curtains production.